Just found out my best friend has been secretly dating my ex for months. I was sitting on my bed, scrolling through my phone like I usually do before sleeping, when my stomach suddenly dropped. Right there, on my screen, was a picture I couldn't believe was real. My best friend and my ex, holding hands, smiling. The caption under the post was simple, but deadly. Can't believe we kept this a secret for so long. My chest tightened. My hands got cold. I just sat there, staring at the screen, reading and rereading those words as if maybe I had made a mistake. Maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it wasn't what it looked like. But no, it was exactly what it looked like. They had been together for months, and I'd been in the dark the whole time. I felt like my brain shut down. I couldn't even process what I was seeing because all the memories of late night talks with my best friend, all the times she told me, you deserve better than him, all the moments she pretended to hate him for me were now flooding back, and every single one of them felt like a knife in my chest. I dropped my phone on the bed, pressed my hands over my face, and just sat there in silence, hearing only the loud beating of my own heart. And then, just as I was about to break completely, my phone buzzed. It was a message notification. From her. But before I opened it, let me tell you how it all started. A few months back, things were completely different. At least, I thought they were. Back then, I was just a normal young adult trying to piece my life back together after a breakup. My ex and I had been together for almost a year, and to be honest, I thought he was the one. He wasn't perfect, but he was mine. We went everywhere together. Restaurants, parks, even random grocery store runs felt like mini adventures with him. But slowly, little cracks started showing. He stopped calling as much, he canceled plans last minute, and sometimes when we were together, I felt like he was far away, even while sitting next to me. I didn't want to admit it at first, but the truth was he was slipping out of my hands. And the one person I leaned on during that time was my best friend. She was always there, listening to me cry, telling me I deserved better than him, saying things like, honestly, I don't know what you ever saw in him. I trusted her words because she was the closest person to me. We had been inseparable for years, sleepovers, sharing secrets, laughing at dumb jokes only we understood. She was more like a sister than just a friend. So when the breakup finally happened, it was her who showed up at my house with ice cream and a blanket. We binged movies all night, and she told me over and over again, one day you'll laugh at how much you cared about him. But here's the thing. Even after the breakup, I still had feelings for him. I just didn't admit it to anyone. I told everyone I was fine, but deep inside, I wasn't. Sometimes even stalked his social media to see what he was up to. I hated myself for doing it, but I couldn't stop. And every time I slipped up and mentioned him, my best friend would roll her eyes and say, girl, you need to block him already. She always said it in this sharp way, like she hated even hearing his name. I thought she was just being protective of me. But now, thinking back, maybe it wasn't that at all. Maybe it was guilt. One night, weeks after the breakup, she invited me to a party. I didn't want to go at first, but she insisted. She said, you need to get out of the house, stop sulking over someone who doesn't even care. So I agreed. The party was wild. Loud music, people everywhere, drinks spilling. I tried to have fun, but I kept thinking about my ex. I didn't see him there, so that was a relief. But looking back now, I realized something strange happened that night. My best friend disappeared for almost an hour. When I asked her where she'd been, she shrugged and said, oh, I was just outside getting some fresh air. At the time, I believed her, but now I wonder, who was she really with? After the party, life went on as normal, or so I thought. We hung out, laughed, shared memes, made weekend plans. Everything seemed fine. But here's where things started getting weird. She began acting different. She was on her phone all the time, smiling at texts she wouldn't show me. When I teased her about it, she just giggled and said, mind your business. I thought she had a crush on someone, maybe even a new boyfriend. I was happy for her, or at least I pretended to be. Then there were times she canceled our plans last minute, claiming she was tired or busy with family stuff. Once she even said she had to babysit her little cousin, but later I saw on her Instagram story that she was out at a cafe. I laughed it off and didn't confront her because I trusted her. I never thought I needed to question her. The worst part is, my ex also started popping back into my world. Random texts like, hey, how are you doing? Or I miss talking to you. Nothing too serious, but enough to mess with my head. And of course, I ran straight to my best friend for advice. Her response was always the same. Ignore him. Don't let him play with your feelings again. She was firm about it. Almost too firm. Like she wanted to shut it down as quickly as possible. At the time, I thought she was just protecting me from getting hurt again. But now, knowing what I know, I realized she wasn't protecting me. She was protecting herself. And then came the night everything finally snapped. It was a Saturday evening, and we had plans to watch a movie at her place. But an hour before I was supposed to go over, she texted me, hey, can we reschedule? Something came up. I felt a little hurt, but I told her it was fine. I decided to just stay in and scroll through social media instead. That's when it happened. That's when I saw it. That picture. Her and my ex. Together. And just as Heart was falling apart, my phone buzzed. It was a message notification. From her. But before I opened it, let me tell you how it all started. The message on my phone screen was short, almost casual, but to me, it felt like a thunderstorm crashing through my chest. Don't freak out, but I need to tell you something. I stared at those words like they were written in fire. Don't freak out. What does that even mean? Why was she sending me this right when I had just seen that picture? My hands were sweating and my mind was spinning so fast I thought I might actually pass out. I didn't open the rest of the message. I couldn't. I sat there paralyzed, my heart pounding louder than the silence in my room. It was like my brain was screaming at me, open it now. But another voice in my head whispered, if you don't open it, maybe it won't be real. Finally, I took a deep breath and tapped the screen. The message opened, and right then, my entire world tilted. But before I tell you exactly what it said, let me take you back a little bit. Because the truth is, I'd had small warning signs. I just didn't want to admit them. A week before that night, I had noticed something strange. I was at my best friend's house, and while she went to the bathroom, her phone buzzed on the couch beside me. I wasn't trying to snoop, I swear I wasn't. But the notification lit up the screen, and I saw his name. My ex. My stomach dropped, but I told myself it was innocent. Maybe he was asking about me. Maybe he wanted to get back together, and she was just helping me out. I forced myself not to think too hard about it. When she came back, I pretended I hadn't seen anything. But it nagged at me. Then, a few days later, I noticed another weird thing. She came to hang out at my house, and when she thought I wasn't looking, she adjusted her hair and checked her reflection in her phone camera like she was getting ready for someone. A few minutes later, her phone buzzed again, and she instantly lit up with this huge smile. She excused herself to take a quick call outside. I should have asked her. I should have confronted her. But I didn't. Because she was my best friend, and best friends don't lie, right? At least, that's what I thought. Fast forward to the night of the picture. The moment I saw them together, all of those little memories came rushing back, like puzzle pieces finally clicking into place. I felt sick. My chest hurt, my head hurt, everything inside me hurt. I tried to calm myself. I told myself, don't jump to conclusions. Maybe it's not what you think. But the caption under the picture was clear as day. We kept this a secret for so long. And then her text message came in. My hands shook as I read it. After that first line, hey, don't freak out, but I need to tell you something, there was more. I didn't know how to say this before, but me and his name have been talking for a while. Please don't hate me. I dropped my phone on the bed. My body went cold all over, like someone had poured ice water down my back. Talking for a while? My brain repeated those words like an echo chamber. Talking for a while. How long was a while? How far had it gone? Why was she saying this to me now, right when the whole world could already see their secret splashed across social media? I couldn't breathe. I picked up my phone again, staring at the message. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard, but I couldn't even think of what to say. Every response in my head felt too small, too weak, too meaningless. What could I possibly text back after finding out that the two people I trusted most had been lying to me for months? And then, as if the universe wasn't done with me yet, another notification popped up. This time, it wasn't from her. It was from him.
His name flashed across my screen like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. My heart was already racing from her message, but seeing his pop up right after felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. I hesitated before opening it. Part of me didn't want to know. Part of me wanted to throw my phone across the room, crawl under my blanket, and pretend none of this was happening. But another part of me, the louder, angrier part, needed answers. I tapped the notification. Hey, I know this is sudden, but I didn't want you to hear it from anyone else. My vision blurred. I blinked hard, trying to focus on the words. My chest tightened as I read on. Me and Jane have been seeing each other for a while now. It just kind of happened. I hope you can understand. Understand? I almost laughed, a cold, bitter laugh. How could he even type that word? Like I was supposed to nod my head and say, oh sure, no problem, thanks for telling me. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone again. I wanted to scream, I wanted to break something, but I just sat there, frozen, the phone glowing in my hand, his words burning into my brain. To really get why this cut so deep, you have to understand the history between us. He wasn't just some random boyfriend I dated for a few months. He was the first guy I ever actually trusted with my whole heart. When we first met, it felt like something out of a movie. We bumped into each other at a small music event, literally bumped into each other because I spilled my drink on his shoes. Instead of getting mad, he laughed it off and said, well, I guess that's one way to get my attention. From that night on, we just clicked. Long calls, late night walks, endless conversations about our dreams. For a while, I thought he saw me the way I saw him, as his forever. But slowly, things shifted. He started pulling away. The text slowed down, the excitement faded. I felt him slipping, but I held on tighter, thinking if I just loved him enough, he'd stay. Of course, he didn't. The breakup was messy, painful, and left me in pieces. And through it all, my best friend was the one who held me together. Or so I thought. Now, sitting there with both of their messages on my phone, I realized she hadn't been holding me together at all. She had been pulling me apart behind my back. I didn't respond to either of them, not yet. My thoughts were too scrambled, my emotions too raw. I just sat in the dark, the glow from my phone screen casting shadows across my room. At some point, I threw my phone face down on the bed and buried my head in my hands. I felt sick. Betrayal has a way of eating at you from the inside out, and that night it chewed right through me. I told myself over and over again, you need to calm down, don't do anything rash, don't say anything you'll regret. But calming down felt impossible, because every time I closed my eyes, I saw their faces together. Every time I took a breath, I heard their words echoing in my head. By midnight, I couldn't take it anymore. I picked up my phone again, scrolled through their messages, and almost started typing something back. But then I stopped. No, if they wanted to confess, they were going to have to say it to my face. I needed to see them. The next morning, I tried to act normal. I went about my routine, shower, breakfast, scrolling through social media like usual, but inside I was burning. Their picture was still up, racking up likes and comments. People I knew were even commenting things like, oh, you two look so cute together. Cute, cute. I wanted to throw up, but I kept my mouth shut. I didn't post anything. I didn't text them back. I wanted to see how far they would go before I confronted them. That afternoon, my best friend called me. My phone buzzed on the table, her name lighting up the screen. I stared at it, my heart racing. She was calling me, probably ready to spill everything in her own way. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. I swiped to accept the call. Hey, she said, her voice soft, cautious, like she knew I might hang up at any second. I swallowed hard, gripping the phone tight. My throat felt dry. And then she said it, words that made my knees go weak. I didn't mean for you to find out this way, but I love him. The moment those words left her mouth, I love him. I felt like the floor had collapsed under me. My best friend, the girl I shared everything with, the one person I trusted most in the world, she didn't just like him. She didn't just catch feelings. She loved him. I couldn't even reply at first. My throat locked up, my chest tightened like I couldn't breathe. On the other end of the line, she kept talking, filling the silence with a stream of excuses. It just happened. I didn't plan for it. I swear I didn't mean to hurt you, but every time I was with him, it felt so different. I didn't know how to stop it. Her voice cracked like she was about to cry, and that made me angrier. She was the one about to cry? I wanted to scream into the phone, why are you the one crying when I'm the one who got stabbed in the back? But the words wouldn't come out. I just listened numb as she tried to explain the unexplainable. Finally, I whispered, how long? There was a pause, a long one. Then she said softly, since around the time you guys broke up. Her answer hit me like a bullet. The exact time I was crying into her arms thinking she was on my side, she was already slipping into his. I couldn't listen anymore. I hung up. After that call, I sat on the edge of my bed in silence for what felt like hours. My mind replayed everything. Our late night talks, her rolling her eyes whenever I mentioned him, the time she canceled on me, the secret smiles at her phone. It was all there, laid out like a puzzle I should have solved long ago. I felt stupid, blind, betrayed. I didn't tell anyone right away. Not my family, not other friends. I carried it inside me like a poison, not knowing what to do with it. Part of me wanted to cut them both off instantly, block their numbers, delete every memory, but another part of me wanted answers. I wanted to see the truth with my own eyes, not just hear their carefully chosen words. So I kept quiet. For the next few days, I acted like nothing happened. I didn't respond to either of them, and when my best friend texted me things like, "Please, can we meet and talk?" I ignored her. When my ex sent a casual, "You okay?" I left it on read. It made me furious. Was he trying to play both sides? Was he trying to soften the blow? The whole thing made me sick. But then came the night that changed everything. It was Friday, and I was restless. I couldn't stay in the house anymore, so I decided to go for a walk. As I stepped outside, the cool air hit my face, and for a moment, it felt good to just move. I walked aimlessly around the neighborhood, trying to clear my head. Then, as I turned a corner near the main road, I froze. Parked by the curb, under the dim yellow streetlight, was a car I knew very well. His car. And sitting inside, leaning close together, were both of them, laughing. The sight of them together in his car was like a knife straight through my chest. They weren't arguing, they weren't acting guilty, they were laughing, carefree, as if the whole world and my feelings didn't exist. I stood there frozen, half hidden by the shadows of the streetlight, my stomach twisting. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I just stared, watching them in disbelief. My best friend leaned over and playfully shoved him, and he grabbed her hand, pulling it close to his chest like it was the most natural thing in the world. That was it. That was the moment the reality finally slammed into me. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a slip-up. They had chosen this. Chosen each other. Over me. I felt tears sting my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Not there. Not while watching them. Not while they laughed like I was some kind of joke they'd already forgotten. I turned and walked away. Fast. My legs shook, my hands trembled, but I didn't stop until I was back in my room with the door locked. And then it all poured out. The anger, the betrayal, the heartbreak. I sobbed until my throat burned. The next morning, I made a decision. I couldn't keep living like this, holding all this pain inside. I needed to confront them, face to face. Not over text, not through phone calls. I needed to look them both in the eye and ask them why. So I sent a message to my best friend. "We need to talk, both of you, tonight. Don't make excuses." She replied almost instantly. "Okay, just tell me where." I gave her the spot. An empty basketball court near our neighborhood where we used to hang out as kids. Neutral ground. A place with history. The whole day, my stomach was in knots. My hands kept shaking. I rehearsed what I would say over and over again, but nothing felt right. How do you even put betrayal into words? When the sun went down, I walked to the court. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst out of my chest. And then I saw them both, standing there, together, side by side, like some twisted version of the past. I walked up slowly, the air thick with tension. Nobody spoke at first. The silence was unbearable. Finally, I looked at them both and said, "So, which one of you is going to explain?" And that's where I'll stop. That night on the basketball court, I got the answers I thought I wanted. They admitted everything. How it started, how long it had been, and how they'd kept it from me because they were afraid of losing me. But the truth is, I'd already lost them the moment they chose each other behind my back. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I just stood there listening, my heart breaking quietly. And when they were done, I told them both the same thing. "You didn't just betray me once. You betrayed me every single day you lied to my face. So congratulations! You found each other. But you lost me forever." And then I walked away. We don't talk anymore. Not my ex, not my best friend. Sometimes it still hurts. Sometimes I still replay it all in my head. But one thing is clear. Betrayal doesn't deserve a second chance. They chose each other, and I chose myself.